Welcome to my new kitchen. I'm here to tell you about where I am, I guess. I feel like I've kind of been all over the place. I mean, I have been all over the place. And you guys have been with me along the journey. There's the kitchen. In my new Victoria's Secret leggings. I haven't gotten in my car all day. I walked to the grocery store to get coffee filters because I had to use a napkin as a coffee filter this morning. So if you have to use a napkin, it does the job, just so you know. But I prefer coffee filters. So I went to the store to get coffee filters and chocolate. That's it. Because this is the first day I'm settled in my new living situation. Yeah, I moved to Nashville. Now I've been thinking about Nashville for a very long time. In fact, on my list of places to live and like do what I love was LA, New York, and overseas somewhere, and Nashville. So I lived in LA, I lived in New York, I lived in Spain and Norway for like a few months at a time. And so really the only other place on my list, apart from Seattle where I grew up, has been Nashville. And the reason for that is because my parents both were in the music industry, like years ago. They like toured with Christian groups and were in the Christian music industry, which is very much like Nashville and like Tulsa and stuff like that. So I that was just always in my brain, Nashville, even though I didn't really care to be a part of just the Christian music industry. But I'm very familiar with the Christian music culture and I grew up in that. So when I was introduced to Nashville, it was through a reunion that my dad had for one of his music groups that he was in. And so I was like in love with Nashville at the very beginning. That was like 13 years ago. And I fell in love with Nashville. I fell in love with the culture, the music culture, the vibe. It was a totally different vibe back then, but I was always super curious about Nashville. And I just remember coming here with my family and feeling alive. And so I was like, oh, one day it'd be fun to live there for a time. So that was many moons ago. But in the meantime, I graduated from college and moved to LA, and I was like, yeah, I want to do music and entertainment and like acting and modeling. And so LA was, you know, I learned a lot. I was thrown into the big bad world when I moved to LA. Talk about sheltered and protected girl here in Seattle, growing up in the church world and stuff. I didn't really know much about the real world. So when I moved to LA, I was kind of like bombarded with it. So I experienced all the things and I learned all the things, and I learned things the hard way and messy way, and I don't know. That was just my story. And then I moved to New York for a year. So I was like, I always wanted to live in New York, so may as well move to New York. So tried that out. Loved New York. It was great. But, and I'm so glad I did because I needed that experience. And I was always told, if you can live in New York, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. And so I don't know if making it is the right word, more like survive for me. If you can survive in New York, you can survive anywhere. So I survived in New York. That was enough for me. And I loved living there. And then I realized, okay, I got my fix. I'll visit New York from now on. So anyway, I lived in LA, did the whole everything that I thought I should do, moved to New York, great. When I said I went abroad internationally, I lived in Spain, studied abroad in Spain, so that was my experience living abroad. And then I was filming Alt for Norge, the Norwegian reality show in Norway for a summer, so that was that. So Spain and Norway, I lived for just like a few months each. And the only other place on my list that I would love to live one day, just because I think it'd be amazing, would be like London or something, or like Switzerland, something like that. I don't know if it'd be for work or filming or performing or studying, I don't know, theology or something random. I don't know, I'm just throwing things out there, but I just think it'd be cool. Maybe one of these days life will take me there. That's the only other place I've thought would be cool to maybe live. Other than that, Nashville. Nashville's it. So, in the last year and a half, which you guys have probably seen in my journey for the last year and a half, I've been in Nashville quite a bit, like back and forth between Nashville and LA. And, oh yeah, I mean, I did live in Denver. That was never on my list. Denver was never on my list, by the way, but it was just like a transitional time for me. I liked it, but I didn't want to be there forever necessarily, but I still like it. Like, who knows, maybe I'll be back there at some point. I don't know. Do we ever really know? Anyway, so I've been back and forth between Nashville and LA a lot the last year and a half. And so I felt this draw. Actually, the first time I felt this draw to Nashville was 13 years, excuse me, that was the first time I visited. It was 10 years ago when I was like, ooh, wouldn't it be fun to move to Nashville? And I was like, no, LA it is. So I moved to LA. But then after I lived in New York for a year and I went back to LA, my mentors at the time asked me, they're like, Brey, have you ever thought of Nashville? And I'm like, oh my freaking goodness. Yeah, but I just moved back to LA and it stresses me out to think of ever moving anywhere else right now. And they're like, but it'd be so, like, music is your heart, and Nashville's like super cool, like there's a lot of cool people there. And I was like, yeah, about that. Cool, but it stressed me out. I like put it away. And I was like, no, I'm not even gonna think about Nashville. I just moved back to LA. So I was doing the LA thing again, and that was in 2015, end of 2015. So little did I know, both my roommates that I ended up living with, one was from Nashville and the other one ended up moving to Nashville. And I ended up just going back and forth between Nashville and LA from that point forward. And I was like, this is so weird. We even talked about this. And a year and a half later, I decided, move to Nashville. So it has actually been in the works for quite some time, starting 13 years ago during my first visit to Nashville. And then there were little plants along the way, and it had to be the right timing for the right reasons with the right people. And yeah, there's something about timing, and it's all about timing. Actually, my dad always said that, Brey, it's all about timing. It's all about God's timing. God has a way, a time, and a purpose, and we don't have to question it. And I have always questioned it because I want things in my timing and in my way and for my purposes, but God's ways are so much higher than our ways. Thank you, Jesus. So when I actually let go of my own stuff and like trust him, then it's usually a lot better. So anyway, yeah, that's where I am. And so leading up to this, I have like an incredible group of people here that I love. I have great musicians that I'm like loving working with. Yeah, music is my heart. I don't know what it's gonna look like in the future, but it's my heart. So I have to be around it. I have to do it or I'm gonna die. If I'm not singing, I die. I die inside. There were like 3 years where I didn't sing and I was like gradually dying. And then I eventually realized, oh my word, if I don't sing, I'm literally going to keel over and die. So that being said, I didn't feel like I could really sing in Los Angeles. My heart wasn't alive. And when your heart's not alive, you can't really do what you love to do or what you're designed to do. And I even like lost it. And I didn't even like know, I don't know. I felt like I lost so much. And so that being said, I decided, okay, I'm gonna go where I feel alive and where I feel like I can do what I love to do and where I feel like I can thrive. And then I'm gonna just trust that that's where I need to be. So in the last year and a half, I found Nashville to be that place. I feel alive when I'm here. I feel encouraged and envisioned. I have more community and like people here that I feel like I am on the same page with and feel supported and feel creative and envisioned with than any other place. I feel like the culture suits me. I feel like maybe it's just more about people than about like ambition here. There's both, of course, like everywhere, but I think when you are focused on relationship, not just like success, it makes a difference. So that's more my vibe. It helps me thrive as a human a lot more when there are other humans that are about relationship too, not just getting ahead or, I don't know, looking like they're successful or something like that. Anyway, so when I decided to position myself where I think I'm going to thrive as a human, not just in my career, then it boiled down to being here because I feel most alive in my human and gifted, in my gifts and in my relationships here than anywhere else. So the decision was made. Moved to Nashville. I have some other like things set up in terms of like business and a work that is along the lines of my brand. Modeling is still happening here, but it's just definitely not like LA. I definitely was like full-time modeling in LA, and here it's definitely not like that. And so that was a risk that I decided to take. Like, yeah, I like modeling, but it's going to take a different form, I think. I'm doing a lot more online stuff. I'm focusing on my online brand. Yeah. I'm focusing on just reestablishing things for myself. And I'm doing music. And that's really all I care about at the moment. I need to be creating and writing with people that like to write with someone like me who's not this like expert writer, but I was always a performer growing up, so I didn't write a lot. I just performed mostly, sang and performed. And so I'm starting to write, which the reason I didn't write that much before is because you have to be very vulnerable and very in touch with your feelings and your emotions. And according to my personality type, I am the least in touch with my emotions. I actually like push emotions aside, and I push pain aside. And a lot of people write from their pain. And so take it from me, who would like avoid pain at all costs. Yeah, I couldn't write from my pain. In fact, my first song that I like really wrote was after I went through grief recovery. I couldn't really write before then. I would just like, I don't know, I couldn't go there. My greatest expression of music was always through worship, because I felt free and safe to worship and connect with God. So that's where my greatest like expression of music came from, until I was able to start connecting with my emotions and my pain and my feelings, which took a lot of things to like break me so that I'd be willing to go there. So that being said, that's why writing's been really difficult for me, because I have a really hard time choosing to go to the depths of my soul. That's hard for me. But for whatever reason, I was always a singer and a performer. So I always loved performing and singing and expressing, but not like doing the deep work in myself to like put my heart on the page and then sing it. I'm doing that here in Nashville. Nashville's full of unbelievable writers and talented singers and songwriters and musicians. And it's challenging me to just own my strengths as a musician. I'm my own musician. I don't have to be like everyone else, and I don't need to be. And you know what? I don't want to be. Sometimes I struggle with wanting to be, but I'm just not. So there's something I can do about that. In fact, I don't need to fight it. I actually just need to embrace it, embrace me for me, and not try to be anyone else. So I don't think I would have been able to handle that before. I probably would have compared myself a lot more if I was younger and here trying to do like music and stuff. And so I don't have to be the best, and I don't have to be like everyone else. I just have to be me. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm just connecting with people. I'm like writing with different people, and yeah, I have like a half of a band together. So hopefully I'll get a band together so I can actually start performing. I have some possibilities lined up, but it's just scary for me. So I'm like, probably taking longer than I should. No, I'm not really. I don't know. I always think things should go really fast, and I always have high expectations of myself. And when I don't meet them, I like get down on myself for that. And then I think I'm a failure, and then I have to overcome feeling like a failure before I actually like take action again. So sometimes I'm my biggest, worst enemy. I think always I'm my biggest, worst enemy. So I'm trying to overcome some of those things. Yeah, if you know of anyone in your life that's like trying to pursue their thing and yeah, taking risks, like go encourage them right now. Yeah, just encourage them. They need encouragement and people to believe in them, for just them. Like, it doesn't mean you believe that they're doing everything perfectly, but it doesn't even matter. Just encourage them to like follow what they think is right. There's enough that's like really difficult. Like if you risk to pursue anything, like you're on the road to difficulty. It's not easy. There's nothing easy about it. You're forming your own path. You're like doing things that have never been done before. You're trying new things that you've never done before. And it's gonna come with like setbacks and disappointments and failures, and you know, it's automatically gonna be that way. So we signed up for that. So if you know anyone on that road, or if it's you, either A, be encouraged yourself, or B, go encourage that person, because I guarantee they need it. And if you're hearing this and you need encouragement, be encouraged, because you know what? We're not following a formula. We're not following a mold or like climbing a ladder or whatever. Yay for the hard road. Anyway, I'm the type of person that needs a lot of affirmation, and so I get it. Like, I know what it's like to feel like everything in the world is against you. Well, it's not really. It's just we chose the hard path, and it's fine. I'm literally just sharing all the thoughts in my head right now because I'm, yeah, working through it all. I had a kombucha today, and then I made it into my water bottle because I broke my other water bottle. And this is the gum that I stuck on it, 2 pieces of gum. I used to have this rule that I would only eat half a piece of gum, and then I broke all my rules. So now I not only have a whole piece of gum, but I have 2 whole pieces of gum when I chew gum. And so this is 2 pieces of gum. Take this however you want, and just know, 2018, baby. Gonna be awesome. Hard, freaking hard. No, freaking hard. I said it, I know. So I just had to say one swear word for you. Okay. 2018 is gonna be freaking hard, but freaking amazing. So I just wanted to share with you that whole little spiel. Here I am in Nashville. Where are you? Tell me. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for being here, and I love you. Bye, 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 bye. Just do you, be you, nobody else but you. I don't know where that came from. Just my own heart to yours. Do you, do you, do you, do nobody else but you. Peace.